Howdy Asian culture vultures, thanks for swooping in to check out this month's Bird Eye Review Show. Lockdown is lifting, borders are open, and yet still I have been sat on that very sofa so that you are kept UTD, up to date, with what the OTTs, over-the-top platforms, have to offer. In this episode, I'll be feeding back on Churails, the Pakistani female-powered web series on Z5, action-packed film Khuda Haafiz, and the long-time-coming Sadak 2, both on Disney Plus Hotstar. So, let's start with a goodbye. Khuda Haafiz. It stars Vidyut Jammwal as Samir, a loved-up, wholesome newlywed with dreams of heading overseas with his lady for a better life. What could be sweeter? And what could go wrong?
रिसेशन बोल रहे हैं अरे नोमन के तेल के कुओं के आगे रिसेशन पानी नहीं मांगेगा देखना और नोमान भी एक फॉरेन कंट्री है जिसके बारे में कुछ पता नहीं.
Well, turns out being unwittingly people trafficked for the flesh trade is a bit rubbish.
Hello?
Sameer.
Nargis?
मुझे वापस घर आना है Sameer.
Nargis?
Luckily, despite a daytime career as a backstreet computer shop guy, it turns out Samir is actually India's answer to Jason Bourne. Who'd have thought? Mad driving skills, detective work, and wielding a fork as a dangerous weapon are all taken in his stride as he races to rescue Nargis, played by relative newcomer Shivaleeka Oberoi.
मुझे मेरी नरगिस चाहिए. बस.
To be honest, I wasn't expecting a whole lot from this film. A friend of mine had given it a rather disparaging critique on Facebook, and I was prepared to do the same. But I was wrong! So never listen to what anyone says about films. Apart from me, obviously.
जिस फरोशी का धंधा करता है बहुत खतरनाक लोग हैं.
It was very watchable. It was different, yes, a little cheesy, but surprising. It's fair to say that the director and action sequence coordinator haven't shied away from graphic violence. One particular scene in the brothel all goes a bit Kill Bill, as another friend put it. I enjoyed it. What does that say about me? I'm not sure. I like the setting of Naman, a fictitious Middle East sultanate. Visually, we are somewhere else. Vidyut Jammwal, easy on the eye, little overacty, but that didn't really bother me. The director, Farooq Kabir, sets a strong visual style. Multiple, more unusual camera angles than usual, and action cameras are sliced in to keep the pace and hold our attention. It's no surprise to me that Kabir is himself involved with the Super Fight League. According to Wikipedia, he has expertise in boxing, taekwondo, Brazilian, jiu-jitsu, judo, and Krav Maga. His background also includes music videos, which in themselves have to tell a fast-paced story, so it works. The script very much plays to his strengths. Whilst Khuda Haafiz is never in danger of winning an Oscar for any element, especially the background score, it is worthy of a watch. I'll give it 3 out of 5. Another atypical location for our monthly roundup of Asian flavours online now. Churails, set in Karachi, Pakistan, a city and country I personally am keen to visit. Maybe to get a job at the Churails Detective Agency.
आप हमारे साथ क्यों काम करना चाहती हैं? बड़ी सी कोठी, पैसा, monies, cash.
Housed in the secret basement of a macabre emporium, this group of mostly ladies set honey traps and secret cams to catch cheating husbands in the act. I'm not sure what to compare it to. It's sort of like the love marriage of Sex in the City with, what I hoped from the trailer, Sacred Games. The show itself is a little less serious than Sacred Games, but I think just as boundary-pushing and gritty. The series shows all aspects of life in a busy city in modern times. Sexuality, gender, fidelity, friendship. It's open-minded, non-judgmental, and rips the veil off Pakistani representation. It's an ensemble cast. The 4 lead Churails, Churail the Urdu for witch, played by Savat Gilani, Meherbano,
एक boxer.
Nimra Bucha, and Yaswa Rizvi. If you haven't seen it already, click here to watch the interview our editor Sailesh Ram did with Meherbano just the other week. Each episode brings a fresh case and a new angle to the 4 lead characters' backstory. We learn of each of their situations, none actually harder or easier than the other. This is a show of female camaraderie, the complex roles of women and the female gender within an overtly patriarchal society. If I had to find fault, I would say it's a little slow to warm up and the humour at times misplaced. I, personally, would have preferred more of an edgier style. Churails on Z5, a fabulous 4 out of 5. And finally, let's flick back to Disney Plus Hotstar for Sadak 2. Which is actually stated on the site in a news vid as the lowest rated film on IMDb. It's a USP, I guess. I mean, it can't be that bad, can it?
जी
Arriving 29 years too soon after Sadak 1, which starred Sanjay Dutt and Khuda Haafiz, Sadak 2 proudly boasts the same duo. Albeit the extent of Pooja featuring is as a massive framed picture, a recorded message each time the taxi starts, and some archive footage from film 1.
सुना था कि प्यार कचरे को भी सोना बना देता है.
It's the tale of Ravi, a suicidal taxi driver who ends up taking on a fatherly figure role to Alia Bhatt's character.
मैंने अपना बिजनेस बंद कर दिया.
मैंने कैलाश जाने की बुकिंग कराई है यहाँ से.
आपको इस शहर में बहुत सारे ड्राइवर मिल जाएंगे.
Alia, half sister of Pooja and daughter of the two films' director Mahesh Bhatt.
यहाँ कोई नहीं मरा.
अब मरेगा.
And before you say it, yes, nepotism is alive and well, quite clearly demonstrated by this film's casting. As after seeing this, I'm sure Mahesh Bhatt would not get to direct any other film were it not for his talented daughter Alia.
आजकल तो लोग WhatsApp पे ही रिश्ते बनाते हैं और उसे तोड़ भी देते हैं. मगर विशाल भी मुझसे ऐसा ही प्यार करते हैं.
This film is odd. And let's remember, Sadak 1 had Mahesh directing his wife and daughter as prostitutes. So yeah, I don't say that lightly.
तेरा बाप गड़बड़ लगता है.
Watching Sadak 2 is like when you keep half an eye on the TV when you're doing something else, apart from actually watching said TV or laptop. You're not quite sure of the narrative, whether you've missed an important bit, you're in no way emotionally invested in the characters or their plight, and you could walk away from it at any point. Except this was the entire film, and I watched it with both my eyes. Its leads are all well-respected actors. Sanjay Dutt, who I must say looked fit in the early 90s, even with a mullet. Alia Bhatt, Aditya Roy Kapoor, Priyanka Bose, all no strangers to being on a film set. So what went wrong? The plot was holy and nonsensical, holy in both senses of the word. It tries to expose the world of cheap gurus and the lengths people will go to stay in power.
इन फेक गुरुओं की वजह से मैंने किसी अपने को खोया है.
Nonsensical with things like when Aditya's character is picked up from jail and he's carrying a caged owl, because that's obviously what you leave prison with. And the owl, it transpires, is no ordinary owl. Ravi somehow knows that he can release the bird during a fight scene and it will take down the enemy. I kid you not, Hedwig is a military-grade secret weapon.
उसको तो कोई अपना ही मारेगा.
And near the end of the film, one of the baddies goes into hiding in a bath of water. Water, last time I checked, is entirely transparent and quite difficult to hide in 14 inches of it. But he does.
क्यों कर रहे आप ये सब? मैं तो सिर्फ एक पैसेंजर हूँ.
Sadak 2 is just completely bonkers. Continuity errors, randomness. IMDb gave it 1 out of 10. I'm going to give it a bit more. I'm giving it 1 out of 5. You should probably give it a miss. That is all for this episode. You may wonder where our news section is. Well, don't panic, fact finders. All will return to normal next month. In fact, the reason for this slightly shorter show is I have my own big news. Next month's episode will be coming from Mumbai. Yes, lockdown is easing and borders can easily be crossed, so I'm going from Goa back to the maximum city of dreams, and you've caught me in the middle of packing. So just remember, in the meantime, follow us on YouTube if you haven't already, click on the bell icon for notifications and let me know in the comments below what ratings you would give to Churails, Sadak 2 and Khuda Haafiz. Which was your fave? Until next time, fly high vultures, fly high.